Hello and welcome to SaltWire today for Thursday, May 11th. I'm your host, Kate Walker. The 1,800 CUPE school support staff in Halifax were back on the picket line today. The strike began yesterday. 136 Halifax-area elementary, junior high, and high schools are now without staff to help children who need extra supports. The union is calling for better wages. Heather Langley is now at home with her 11-year-old daughter, Lucy, who has profound physical and intellectual challenges.
Because of her disability, she isn't allowed to attend school this week in Halifax. Children with disabilities have been told to stay home because the province doesn't want to pay a living wage to the student support workers who support kids like my daughter, Lucy.
The strike has caused a lot of challenges for parents not being able to go to work without childcare. It can also be detrimental for children with special needs who have specific routines and structures and who require social stimulation with other children.
It's unbelievable to me in 2023 in Canada that children with disabilities have been told they can't go to school in the Halifax region. It's blatant discrimination. Typical kids are in school and kids like my daughter are not allowed to go to school.
In a statement from the Department of Education today, it reads in part, "Strikes are disruptive for everyone. Strikes should not be more disruptive for students who rely on individualized supports." HRCE has contacted the union regarding ways to support students who rely on the striking workers, but the union has refused to participate. This is very disheartening. The Halifax-area union local is one of 8 CUPE locals representing 5,400 school support staff who work for the 7 Anglophone education centres across the province and the Francophone Board. They include educational program assistants, outreach workers, pre-primary educators, and more. The Education Department had reached a tentative agreement with the bargaining team for all 8 CUPE bargaining units 3 weeks ago. The other 7 units accepted the deal in a recent vote, but the Halifax area local rejected it, again calling for better wages. Nova Scotia RCMP members will soon begin to test out body cameras. Over the next 8 to 10 weeks, 60 RCMP officers across the province will be field testing body cameras and a new digital evidence management system. The idea is to follow what's being adopted in other parts of Canada to support public calls for more transparency from police and accountability. RCMP say should the field test meet operational requirements, body-worn cameras will be distributed to RCMP detachments across the country. National rollout would proceed in a phased approach and would take 12 to 18 months. Starting May 15th, body-worn cameras will be used by officers in Chester, Digby, New Minas, North Sydney, Pictou, Stellarton, and Yarmouth Rural, most of them in traffic services. Police have laid charges in a shooting in Dartmouth earlier this week. On Tuesday, police were called to Primrose Street in Dartmouth. We're now learning a 34-year-old woman was shot and taken to hospital for non-life-threatening injuries. Police say yesterday they stopped a vehicle in Dartmouth just after 1 p.m. and arrested the suspect. 21-year-old Gregory Kalen Everest was scheduled to appear in Dartmouth Provincial Court today to face charges of attempted murder, discharging a firearm endangering life, careless use of a firearm, carrying a concealed weapon, possession of a prohibited firearm, possession of a firearm without a license, unauthorized possession of a firearm, possession of a weapon dangerous to the public peace, storing a firearm contrary to the regulations, and possession of a firearm obtained by crime. Next to a woman who has been given a new lease on life through her art. Maria Valverde, who has Spanish roots and is also known as the Maritime Senorita, now has her own art display called Celestial Hunger at the Zwicker Gallery in downtown Halifax. But it wasn't easy getting here. The 53-year-old was diagnosed with stage 4 terminal lung cancer 2 years ago. Valverde was working at the QE2 hospital cleaning emergency rooms when she came down with a bad cough. As it was mid-pandemic, she figured it was COVID-19, but the result was negative.
And they kept doing some more tests eventually, and they found out that I had tumors in my lungs. And at that moment, it was a very serious diagnosis, something I wasn't even really able to absorb at that time. And so, it changed my life 360.
On her breaks at the hospital, she would explore what it meant to be in the current pandemic and what happened in past pandemics, which became the inspiration behind her art collection, a series of connected pandemic-themed acrylic works.
And so I looked up this word, and I came and found out the word Spanish flu, a pandemic that happened in the medieval ages. And it sparked my interest because I always loved medieval art, anyway. And then that kind of took me to another place of realizing there was a small mini ice age at the time in the medieval ages. So then I thought, well, isn't that uncanny? We're living in a time of global warming. So just in those two situations, I realized, wow, there's something there to explore creatively.
Now, Valverde is on long-term disability from her job at the hospital and has qualified for an expensive drug to be covered and help her push through her cancer journey. Her Celestial Hunger exhibition is viewable at the Zwicker Gallery until May 27th, with some of the proceeds from her sales going towards charities close to her heart. There are many challenges when it comes to being an immigrant, exploring a new country, and trying to navigate into new housing, social circles, and finding employment. This week in Halifax, the Canadian Immigrant Fair returned for its 6th annual event at Pier 21.
There are diverse vendors here, right from offering career services. There are a few hiring companies as well to offer educational services, bridging programs, and settlement services. Everything which an immigrant would require through their journey, through their settlement journey.
The free event was a one-stop shop to network newcomers with information and a focus on careers, education, and settlement. Immigrants had the opportunity to seek help as they look for jobs, go back to school, and settle into their new homes.
I talk about this method that's helped me as I've traveled in different parts of the world and as I've come as an immigrant. And I talk about EIA. So that's a method called embed, interpret, and act. So really embedding yourself in a community, learning to understand the community, build relationships within the community, and then interpret the information that you've learned in your home country, what you're learning in Canada, and then combining those two and acting accordingly.
The mission of the event is to connect newcomers with employers, recruiters, immigrant service providers, as well as what kind of government services that can help navigate their way through Canada. Time now for the Atlantic Sports Wire, presented by SaltWire.
The Dartmouth Mariners are getting ready to participate in the Centennial Cup for 2023. Joining me is their head coach, Laurie Barron. Coach, what's the mood of yourself and the team ahead of the start of the tournament?
I think we're excited. It's been a while. We wrapped up our season a little bit earlier, and so we've been practicing hard for a little over 2 weeks. So I know myself and the boys are very excited to get rolling.
I would be remiss, Coach, also if I didn't mention the fact that you were awarded the Maritime Hockey League Coach of the Year for the second year in a row. Your team was outstanding, 41-9-2 on the season. What is it about this relationship between yourself as coach and your players that create this great squad, this great chemistry?
Well, I think that's the biggest thing. The Coach of the Year is just, that's a team award. Very lucky to have a great squad around me and a great coaching staff to help me out. Makes my job very easy. This team's been a special team all year. We maybe didn't get off to the greatest of starts, but from about game 9 on, you could tell it was a special group that cared about one another, and it's been a lot of fun to be behind the bench with them.
And we're happy to have you on the Atlantic Sports Wire. Coach, from everybody here at SaltWire and certainly right across Nova Scotia, we're pulling for you. We wish you lots of luck, and go Mariners, go.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate it.
Be well. Good luck. See ya.
Thank you.
You can check out my full interview with Coach Laurie Barron on the video tab at saltwire.com. Also on our SaltWire YouTube channel. In Halifax, I'm Scott Squires for the Atlantic Sports Wire.
Thank you, Scott. On to weather now to see what's coming up in the forecast. We're going to check in now with our weather specialist, Alistair Alders.
Well, it wasn't a bad day once again here in Halifax, Kate. We had lots of sunshine, a bit cool right where I am along the water. It was warmer inland. And not sure if you can tell, but behind me, the skies today were quite hazy. And I'd been talking about this earlier in the week. This is because the jet stream carried smoke from the wildfires in western Alberta into our region. So although the sun was out, the skies did appear a bit gray today rather than blue. We have another fair weather day tomorrow and then a bit unsettled to start the weekend. This evening, just a few clouds around, but it could still be a bit hazy. We'll see the temperature near 8 degrees and starting near 5 degrees on Friday morning with sunny skies, but again, it could be a bit hazy in the morning and hazy at times likely throughout the day on our Friday, but mainly sunny. Now, temperature-wise, we'll have winds blowing from the southeast, so right along the coast, closer to 11 degrees, in the city 14, and inland once again near 20 degrees for the high tomorrow. So not bad for Friday. Saturday, also not too bad, but some weather awareness needed. A cold front will bring some broken showers and a risk of thunderstorms, especially during the morning hours into the early afternoon. However, during the afternoon into the evening, I do expect some sunshine into the mix. Mother's Day not looking too bad, although I think more clouds than sunshine. Kate.
Thank you, Alistair. That's all for now. For more extended video and full online articles, stay tuned to SaltWire.com. And you can find us on social media. I'm your host, Kate Walker. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.